Welcome everybody, this is Evelyn. I have a Metatron read and the Union read today. I don't have the big spread today. I'll probably have that for you tomorrow. I have to finish up with some of the astrological signs today, hoping to finish today. I did pull something in my left wing, so I'm hoping I'm okay to finish them up today, but if I don't, I'll finish them up tomorrow. And some really cool information was coming through in the Metatron read, and I'm going to show you the picture of that. We're going to roll the die as well. So you have the read on the table, but I'll show you the picture as well. Okay, so here's the read on the table. The Metatron read from this morning. It's like a message of downloads for the day. And then for the Union read is here. Okay. So for those not familiar with my Union read, this is for the twin flame physical union. And this is the feminine on the left, masculine on the right, the bridge between them in the center, incoming divine feminine, outgoing divine masculine, the underlying energies and the closing energies. So this top card, I just pulled a couple extras if you wanted to know what was underneath there, and then going forward as well. So this is the King of Wands is the final card there in the closing energies. Okay, and this is the 4D, 5D, and 6D. Sometimes I do 3, 4, 5, but I've been guided now to do 4, 5, 6. So that's what I've been doing. And yeah, let's get started with this so I can get into my other reads as well. Let's go ahead and just take a quick deep breath. One more deep breath. Lots of love and blessings out to everybody. And again, thank you so much for being here with me today. Let's roll the die, see what comes up, and get right into this. For the twin flames, today is January 19th, 2022, and it's 2:44 on the clock right now. And that is the 2 of the High Priestess, the 44 of the 4 of Cups, which is the grounding, integrating, and mastering of the receiving of love as well. It can be boredom and apathy too, but in a more profound way. Sorry, my plug is not where it's supposed to be. All right, for the dice, for the twin flames today, January 19th, 2022, we have the moon, which is Cancer energy, and we just had the full moon in Cancer. We have the Aquarius energy, and notice that symbol, because that's going to come up in the read as well, both the M and the W of the Aquarius energy here. So Aquarius, Cancer is coming up with the moon, and then the number 8, which is also Leo of the Strength card, but it's also August of Leo going into Virgo. Okay, so we have that energy of strength, of Leo to Virgo is kind of like harvesting in reining in your passions, right? Because Leo is all about the self, and then Virgo is a more disciplined energy about purifying that energy. And then we have Aquarius and Cancer as well. Again, the group energies of Aquarius, and then the Cancer of the home and family, and the mothering energies as well. So we're getting like the whole summer energy. We have Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and then Aquarius is the opposite of Leo. So that's the axis we're working on today, is Leo and Aquarius. And again, with my wing that I pulled, every time I pull something, it's because we're clearing that area. So when I had hurt my knee a couple years ago, and that took a while to heal, we were clearing the legs, and then I hurt my arm and my shoulder. That was like 2 years ago, and that took a while to heal. And now my wing is pulled. It's not an injury like I had before, but it's always symbolic of something releasing. It's a purge. So when you have something that hurts, make sure to put your focus and intention on that and send it love. It's just calling for your attention. and for you to be good to yourself and pamper yourself and rest if you need to do that. So this Metatron energy was done at 10:33 to 34 this morning. The 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. The 33 is the Christ vibration. The 7 of Wands of standing up for yourself without being defensive. And the underlying energy, or the bottom of the deck, was the yellow card here. The yellow one right there. And these are two under that. And the yellow, of course, is the solar plexus. And in this card, we have the bee pollinating the yellow flower. And let's see, beneath that was ancestors and duality. And then the first card out was codependency, which is also the 53, which is the Knight of Swords. And it has to do with the key to your freedom being at the root of the issue, right? The root of your ancestors and family tree, which in this life is where all of our wounds started from. Not to mention all of the other subconscious wounds that we may not be aware of because they may be in our DNA from prior energies or prior lives. The first card out was codependency, and then the colors for the read, we had the yellow plus the blue, which of course the yellow and blue is the green of the heart, the throat chakra and the solar plexus, and then meeting in the middle in the heart. We also have lilac and indigo, which is very much the third eye and up energies, very high vibrational energies, kind of pulling up that energy, and the blue as well. So we really have the throat to third eye and up, and then the yellow of the solar plexus being highlighted here, of the confidence and shining your light. So pulling up the ego from the red and the orange into the yellow, okay? The only element that came up here was water. Water, water, water. Make sure to drink, shower, perhaps salt in your cleansing things. Like I usually put salt in my apricot scrub or something, which will help clear your aura. And being the salt of the earth as well, very grounded. But remember to drink plenty of water and to use plenty of water. Remember that water is the vehicle of infiltration for us to keep us healthy. The underlying energy remember too that, we're mostly made of water. Don't forget that. It's very easy for us as very visual people to forget that we're mostly water and how important it is for us. Plus, it's that connection to the other side. It's like the ultrasound gel for the ultrasound. It helps us connect. The underlying energy here is the family coming forward in energetic exchange for appreciation and healing to the King of Wands. And you may start to be gathering your true soul family that you're meant to be around. You'll start to see new groups forming or new friendships forming, new types of family forming, perhaps old family friends coming back into the picture. Healing, appreciation and healing to the King of Wands, who comes up as the duality card because he's the man of passion. And this is about being out of balance and the need to rebalance again at 10:40. Come back to the heart. Balance between the masculine and feminine, but also between your 3D and 5D energies. Coming back to the heart, which again was between the blue and the green that came up in the colors today, which happened to be my high school colors. And it happens to be the colors of where my son works now as well. It's just a lot of that blue and gold. And plus the chords of the twins, I was given my energy as blue and gold. I'm not sure if that's the same for everyone because I feel that like there's different groups. But I resonate very much with the blue and gold. And that has to do with the blue rays as well. I have a healing energy of the green aura, but it's that yellow-green of communication as well. And then the blue rays, which of course the blue and yellow is the green, of healing. So the underlying energy with the family coming forward in energetic exchange for appreciation of each other and healing each other, and giving that healing perhaps to the masculine energy in all of us of the King of Wands, the man of passion and duality in need of balancing right now with the 1040, which is the Page of Cups, and that innocent love and friendship as well. For pollination of the yellow busy bee, remember the bee is also to be in joy and happiness, with the first card out as the codependency and the key to freedom being the Knight of Swords for your evolution of that Page of Cups, which is the baby energy of innocence and purity, and the birthing of the new within your heart space. And then the mothering for when you're blue, being present and held. The codependency between the mother and child, right? Which is a necessity of life. When a child is a baby, of course they're codependent on the mother. and vice versa. Mother your inner child to find what's weighing on them today. Hear and know your inner child, that Atlas energy of the weight of the world. The Queen of Cups and her light body feeds the new child, the heart, and then mothering yourself, your adult self, allowing healing hands from above, or perhaps in service to you, or from a friend, or going to get a massage or something. You take care of the inner child, and the mother will take care of you in return. And again, the mother can reference Gaia as well. The family gathering for self-satisfaction of waking and dawning to soul ties that are pre-existing and are now joining together. And Archangel Sandalphon, otherwise known for me as Saint Dolphin, is with you now with the lyre or the Lyran family ties of love and gentleness and creativity and music of the spheres on the fool's journey of an open heart, taking a leap of faith, as opposed to the wounded warrior, which is about that victim mentality. This is us taking responsibility for our life. We are always responsible for our happiness in every moment, no matter what anyone else might do to us. If each of us takes responsibility for our own wounds, that's where the peace and heaven on earth comes from. Hermit, take action. And then I was getting like action, where movement is needed, where the land meets sea, meets sky, meets I am. At 1049, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Get Your Wish card of the Nine of Cups, being sovereign and happy within self. If you find that alone, you can be happy in any now moment. Tapping into your I am for a message from the quote-unquote email of the energy mail from the castle in the cloud, the Mother Ark and the Milky Way, and the cloud, the lilac message of higher realms and magic, the magic Q-dom, Q for quantum energy, and QE2, the twin flame push and pull of quantum energy. The twin flame, you notice, is TF, and so is the toroidal field. Two O's put together with space between in a field of possibilities of nothingness and everythingness all at once. And so when I went into the email in the cloud, the time was 10:50, which is about emotional fulfillment of the family, the 10 of Cups. And then when I just finished that sentence, it was 10:55, which I was getting very significant energies coming in when I wrote that about it being the truth. And there's some more truth that's coming up in this read. So the twin flame is referencing the toroidal field as well as the QE2 of the quantum energy exchange of the push and pull. Two zeros of the apple, right? The apple cheeks, and the core in the middle is the space between, in a field of possibilities of nothingness and everythingness all at once. Under the purple moon, which is where the dark meets light, which is the 0 point field at the center of it all, the bottom of it all, the entry wound and the exit wound of the toroidal field, where the 0 point is in the middle of the core. The exit and entry wounds are on either side of the apple, right? The top of the apple and the bottom of the apple. The castle in a cloud and sunshine in my eyes. And then I was getting, mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. So if you want to look up the lyrics, you can, but that was coming up right there. As castle in a cloud and sunshine in my eyes. The Knight of Wands with a passion for life, inspired and moving, and creative, feeding Saint Dolphin, which is referring to the Lemurians and the Lyran connections or communities. Then the lily was coming up, and the lilac, and the comparison between the two, because the lily is the le with a short I, right, which you'd put a little cup above the lowercase I, which then makes it a Y. And then it's ly, which is another Y. It's about the Y in the road, right? In all directions of time and space. We talked about this yesterday, the difference between the T and the Y. So here it was coming up again as the lily, which is the two Ys, and then the lilac, which is the lie and the lack of the T, right? Because it's a long I, which is a line across the lowercase I, which can be the division symbol, right? The T with a dot above it. Division, divide. The lie and the lack is lilac. It's the T with a dot over it, the lowercase I, and then the A of lack, which is a lowercase a with a cup above it, symbolizing the short A, which looks like a queen, right? She's a human with connections with a crown on her head. The blocks and the right angles, or in other words, manipulation and lack of needing to be queen of the day, because you already are. Mother Earth with grounding and support here at 1111, and now I'm just getting now, again, ground control to Major Tom. Mother Earth for grounding and support, which was coming up earlier in the read, about holding you. When you take care of the inner child, she takes care of you. At 1111, there is alignment there. In other words, icing the field was coming up here. And the square, like a baseball diamond, but it's the square, the SQ, which is subcutaneous, by the way. That wasn't coming up before, but it is now. And then I was getting the square of the astrological chart, right? So the first square coming up was the Torus with Aquarius, because there's a combination of those two energies, which was coming up for me. And then, of course, the opposites of those, which is Scorpio and Leo. And then the next square being the Virgo, Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius. And then the third square of Capricorn, Libra, Cancer, and Aries. So the square obviously indicates the number 4, and the circle 3, which we've talked about many times. It's also the Empress and the Emperor, further delineating the difference between them, the 3 of the circle and the shape of the feminine, the 4 of the square and the control of the masculine or the emperor. And so the squares are coming up as blocks, of course, which you know in astrology. And remember that I talked about yesterday or the day before, the fact that the cube of a square is not the same as the diamond, because the diamond comes to a point. It's not equal all the way through, right? So if you had a box, it's equal measure all the way through. But if you turn that box on its corner, it's still a cube. It's not a diamond. It looks like the cube is like 2 roofs put together, as opposed to the diamond, which comes to a point at the top and the bottom. So instead of the cube, which would fit 8 balls inside of it that are equal size, right, 4 on each side, the diamond would only fit 6 inside. So there's a difference in number here between the 8 and the 6. The cube is 8, the diamond is 6. The circle comes up as 3. So here's that energy of the cube to the diamond, and the diamond looks like a flower because it's like 4 circles, like the cross, but with the Celtic cross has that circle in the middle, which is really just counting the 5th circle, and then the 6th circle is the one behind that you can't see. And remember, cube is C-U-B, just B, which equals 8 spheres or cubes. And the diamond, remember, is 2 almonds of the 2 eyes, the 2 petals, or the 2 fish. The 6 spheres or cubes in the diamond, as opposed to the 8 spheres or cubes in the 8. Or the 6 spheres or cubes where 2 triangles. Okay? So if you have if you have the 6 spheres of the diamond, which is what we're talking about, or the 2 almonds, or the 6 spheres or cubes, is where there's 2 triangles that come together that make the diamond. But they're actually pyramids in the diamond, right? They may be triangles in the cube, but they're more about pyramids in the diamond shape because it changes mass from the middle to the top and the bottom. So the 6 spheres of the diamond comes up as 2 triangles in the way we visualize it, which is about trying the angles or new perspectives, where two twin flames try new perspectives, because here's another polarity. Perspective is one end, which is the organic shift, and manipulation is the false end. This is a polarity that's very important coming up here. The false energy of manipulation versus what is pure manipulation is actually called perspective and shift. That's the organic energy. And then they wanted me to draw the squares, the diamond, and the circles in a row to help you further understand the energies of these things. So when the square is put together, right, it looks like it's all the same energy. You see the line on either side? It's representative of the line over here. The diamond represents either the wavy line of the water or the mountains, depending on how you draw the line. And then the circle is the leapfrog here, all right? That's the line on either side of the circle, and you see the quantum leaps between the diamonds, the squares, and the circles, okay? So just keep that visual in your mind. The square is the line, the diamond is the wave or the mountain, and the sphere is the quantum leap. And I looked up each word. So square is SQU, which is a leech. So square is leech R. Leech is R. They are present, right? And then the diamond, which of course we already discussed, which is two almonds, or in other words, the two petals or flowers of life coming together. The two fish, the symbol of Jesus, but also flowers and eyes are all almond shaped. And then the sphere, which is SP and here. And SP has lots of definitions like spelling, spur, special, and spell out. But this other word I wasn't familiar with, Senterpartiet, which is a Norwegian political party from 1920. So I looked that up, and Senterpartiet means center party. How perfect is that for center point? So again, the center party is also center part. Also, the SP words that were coming up or phrases were spinal processes, which are very connected to the energy of the chakra layers, right? The bones that stick out in your back, the processes. The signal pattern. Sigma pi was coming up very significantly. And because if you draw sigma pi, which looks like an E, and then two T's put together is pi. And if you draw the pi of the circle with the line down the middle around the sigma pi of the two T's, it becomes the circle with the line down the middle with E and T, referencing your extraterrestrial connection with a human who is balanced. Sigma pi, very significant there. The solar plexus also came up here. Seminal plasma. Square pusher, which is a musician term, I'm not familiar with it. Sweetie pie, sole proprietorship, support plan, sock puppet, spectinomycin, statistical power, sexual preference, social phobias, self-publishing, sleep paralysis. These are just some of the ones that stood out for me to tell you, because there's a lot of SP phrases. But start point also came up, as well as the South Pole. Spouse is SP, as well as self-portrait, spell, security and privacy. Spain and Spanish are also SP, as well as space, and Spain will come up in a second. Slave present comes up, as well as speed, and service pack, which I've been talking about, the shadow being your backpack, right? It's stored for fuel. When you are able to transmute the energy, you store it for fuel when you need more light. It's like filling up at the gas station. Remember, the feminine collects the sun, but she also has the shadow. And now we're learning that the shadow is good because we can transmute that energy into light whenever we need that energy. So different ways of creating the energy when we need it. So just keep that visual as well. And of course, SP comes up as state police and security police and shore police as well. And this was all at 1147, which is alignment with your dreams, the Seven of Cups, which is all about seeing heaven in your eyes and seeing synchronicities, but also, of course, many choices, the things that you love to do. And so from there, they were taking me back to the symbols again, and I looked up Sigma to see the symbols of Sigma, to see what else was coming up in reference to the Sigma Pi. And one of the symbols that came up for Sigma Pi was the owl. Okay, that came up like this for that specific fraternity. Okay, you see the two O's. Here is the shape of the Y in the middle of the nose, right? And then the eyebrows, see that's that quantum jump or the frog leap of the circle that I just showed you. So literally the owl is the Y in the road with the toroidal field, right? The circle of the apple cheeks on either side, and the Y is the explosion on one end, right? And the bottom of the apple is closed, right? So it's kind of like referencing the apple exactly. And then the wings of the bird on the top that look like the leapfrog literally can be the stem at the top of the apple. All right, so you see me drawing that over here. This is the toroidal field, okay? And it looks like the stem of the apple. This would be the bottom of the apple, the two cores, and then again the middle of the core, which is 0 point field. So sigma was also coming up as Sophia, I, God, Ma. So the mother is coming up very significantly here. And again, the pi energy of the human embodiment of source with the line down the middle representing alignment or balance, human balance. So we're going from the square, but if you shift a square in the 2D, because remember the cube is the 3D version, the square, when you shift it 1/8, becomes the diamond, but it's still not a diamond because if it's a cube, it's the two roofs put together as opposed to a diamond, which comes to a point at the top. But you go from the square to the diamond shape in a shift, right? So we shift from the block of the square, and we as the victim then shift an 1/8 turn to go to the diamond shape. And then once you charge the diamond shape, then you have those arcs of energy leaping from point to point of the diamond, which then creates the circle, right? So then you have energy arcs around the circle like that. And then, of course, you just have the circle, which for me, I always tell you, is my symbol for the human embodiment of source energy. Then when I looked up at the sigma pi symbols, the only other symbols that came up from the Greek alphabet were delta, I think epsilon and alpha both came up. So it was a reminder that the capital A is like the TP grounded into the earth, but it's also the rocket ship about to take off. So again, there's always opposite polarities that will come up in these energies for you to understand how to get to the middle. The merge of the delta, right, because the delta in a river is where the two rivers flow into one, or vice versa, where the one river flows into two, but usually it's the two into one, just like merging in traffic. The triangle is the delta, the merge, the trying an angle, a new perspective of two as one, or in other words, two merging, which equals the diamond. The Y in the road, which remember when you draw the Y, like the Mercedes symbol in equal parts, it creates 3 triangles or the pyramid from the top, but remember it has 3 sides, but the bottom is a side as well, especially if it's closed off. So we have the 3 triangles of the Y in the road, or looking down upon a pyramid, which is actually 4 faces and 4 points and 6 sides. One pyramid, and remember pyramid is pi ram ID. The pi of the human embodiment of source balanced, the ram of the masculine sheep with horns, and then the idea of the identification of them, identifying themselves as we start the astrological cycle in Aries. The human embodiment of source with the line down the middle, or the pi cut in half, is the male sheep or the lamb's identity. And remember, when we take that pyramid and then combine it with another period, that becomes the Merkaba. So literally, this is looking down upon a pyramid from the top, and then this is looking down at 2 pyramids coming together, right, which is the star. But it's also the Merkaba. So the 2 triangles come together, one being the male sheep triangle and their identity of the masculine, which of course is the right side up pyramid, and the upside down pyramid is the feminine, with the 6 triangles, which are actually 8 because there's bottoms on them, with 8 faces. And normally you'd think there are 8 faces and 8 points and 12 sides because it's 2 pyramids, but they're actually 2 pyramids together, which then creates more points. So you have to add all those points that come from joining them together. So they're more than just the 2 of them when they come together. The 2 pyramids joined as one equals the Merkaba, 2 balanced human or sheep or lambs as one identity. 2 human lambs, one without horns and one with 2 C or whispering bench shaped horns. Of the whispering bench, the sheep with C horns, and the lamb, that can reference the Christ energy as well, the Christ consciousness. And remember, the horns are the trumpets, but it's also come up as the music and your ability to speak your truth as the message in the bottle. The sheep is the feminine, or the lamb is the feminine with the C horns. The sheep with the C horns is the masculine, and the lamb is the feminine without the horns, since she has that within, in the silencing of the lamb. The Merkaba actually has 14 points with 24 sides and 24 faces, because there's more than just the 8, 8, and 12, because they came together creating more points, or sides and faces rather. So the 14, the 24, and 24 add up to 62, which is the 8 of Swords, which is the imprisonment. And this is about the Merkaba prison in order to transcend it. So if you take the 14, 24, and 24, and you take the first number of each, it's 122 and 444, which is, I told you the 122 this week was very significant coming up, the 122, 33, and 144. And then the 444 is the angelic realms, but it's also the square. The 4 is the quarter or the square. And we have the 14 of the temperance and the 2 24s, which is the Queen of Wands. So we have the patient angel with the 2 fiery women. Right? The 2 supposed Mary Magdalenes. Will the real Mary Magdalene please stand up? Then we have, if you rearrange the 14, 24, and 24 of the sides and faces and points of the Merkaba, I was just kind of fooling around with the numbers. It was 14, 24, and 24, or 24, 14, and 24. But it's 1 divine masculine and 2 divine feminines plus 3 angels of the 444. If you arrange it in 1, 2, 2 plus 444, 1 is the masculine, 2 2s are the 2 feminines, and then triple 4s, which are the squares or quarters, or the angels or angles, the new perspective of seeing the masculine and the feminine, or the 3 of the 1 masculine and the 2 feminine energies. And remember, 14 divides by 2, along with 24, into 12, so 7 and 12 come up here. 2 times 7 is 14, then 2 times 12 is 24 times 2. Or with the 3 angles here, but the 4 of the quarter, again, the 3 4s, is that energy of the Empress and the Emperor again. The 3 4s, the 3 is the Empress, the 4 is the masculine. And then both of them together create the 7, which is the number that's not of this world, which is also coming up as the right angle. If you look at just the right angle, you'll see a new perspective. Remember, 3 out of 4 is also 3 quarters, or with only 1 quarter to go. The 2 2 2 also, and the 7 12 12. Right? So if we're breaking down the 14, 24, and 24 into their divisibility by 2, it's the 2 by 7, 2 by 12, 2 by 12. So you take the 3 2s, and then the 7, 12, 12, and it was coming up as the 3 divine feminine energies, right? Because we have triple 2s now here, with the right angle or key equals the 6 of love, or love, family, and community. In order for 2 to hang out and be wise, which is the 12 and 12, 2 hangmen hanging out with new perspectives or new angles at the right angle, seeing it just right in a new perspective and coming together. So the patient angel of the 14 and the 2 fiery women of the 24s in the Merkaba, which equal the 8 of Swords, the 62 of the prison sentence, to learn how to transcend and release oneself in any now moment. A kiss is a triangle, as well as the meaning for changes in delta. And the diamond is 2 eyes, where the eyes have it, charged when came together to become as 2 as 1, the 2 circles. But with that diamond light, with the hourglass between, becomes the Merkaba field, just like the apple. The 2 zeros are the apple cheeks, and the hourglass of time and space between them, causing a rush. The 2 maddened, magnetized through an electric or eclectic field of space-time continuum of possibilities. The toroidal field, the TF, the twin flame push and pull of the QE2, the quantum energy field, that all began with the apple, or in other words, the entry wound, the first bite, overcome by temptation. Once you go black, it's very hard to go back. And then it went into Miss Mary Mac, which actually has to do with a black culture song of black children playing this game. Miss Mary Mack, all dressed in black with silver buttons down her back. She asked her mother for 50 cents to see the elephants jump over the fence. And this is a hand slapping game where you cross your arms. You cross your arms and slap, and then your legs, and then your hands come together. So you're literally doing all forms of energy. You're crossing the energy lines between the masculine and the feminine. Then you're singly hitting each side of the masculine and feminine on your legs. And then you clap coming together without crossing, coming to the middle. And that's the clapping game. So it was very interesting, not only the physical part of this game, but listen to the words. So Miss McMary Mack, all dressed in black with silver buttons all down her back, she asked her mother for 50 cents to watch the elephant jump over the fence. They jumped so high, which is so weird too, because I was doing a session with someone yesterday where his elephant card came up. They jumped so high they reached the sky and never came back till the 4th of July. Lie. And I remember us always saying, you lie at the end. And July literally can be pronounced as you lie, depending on what your language is. So this clapping game, and then what was coming up is the Black Madonna. And this is something I know a little bit about because I went on a Mary Magdalene retreat in 2017 with Mercedes Kirkle. She channels Mary Magdalene, and it was an amazing retreat that we went on in the south of France. And one of the things we toured was the Black Madonna, which has to do with the Cathars and Mary Magdalene's experience with the Cathars. What this article specifically was coming up from marymagfrancetours.com, and I was getting major connection that this was the truth, and the title to the time, it was 12:55. How perfect is that? 12 is Jesus hanging on the cross, and 55 is the truth. It's Excalibur. The mystery of the Black Madonna and Mary Magdalene. So the Black Madonna is known in the south of France, at least, as as Mary Magdalene. And in this article, she wrote about her vision, the person writing this article, which you can check that out on that site, of Mary Magdalene and her teachings, which the Cathars, that's a big deal for the Cathars community. Her teachings inside of a circle of 12 other women, and remember I was just talking about 24 and 24, and the 7 by 2, which is the 14 in the middle, of Mary Magdalene, the patient angel, right? Who's also seen as the whore, right? So you see how all these things all come together. So in her vision, she saw Mary Magdalene in the middle with a circle of women around her of 12, and then a second circle around them of a mixture of men and women, all learning her teachings, but not looking up to her. This is on the same playing field. So here we have 14 in the middle of the Mary Magdalene patient angel, which is the temperance card, and also that being the 7 times 2, which is the 72 by 2 of the 144. So, it all kind of feeds into each other. And then a circle of 12 around her, and then another circle of 12 around that one, which is also referencing the 12 by 12, which equals 144. And then they mentioned 2 other groups of 12 around them, all learning from each other. It wasn't about them worshiping her. They were all on the same playing field. So it was 4 groups of 12, which is the 24 and the 24, plus the 14 of the patient angel being Mary Magdalene in the middle, practicing her teachings. So then I was getting the Merkaba again, because I always tell you, I always get the pyramid shape as the Rock of Gibraltar, as the peak with Atlas in Morocco, and then Hercules in the Spanish territory on the African side as the mountains, and then looking at towards the Rock of Gibraltar, which points the African energy towards England. And then the next arrow points from Europe, I was getting the feminine arrow is France and US, which tie in because of the Statue of Liberty, and then Israel, which are bringing up the Gibraltar Strait, right? One leads to England, and then the Gibraltar Strait leads from between France and Israel towards the United States. So it's very interesting the way this was coming up. So here we have both arrows, which I've brought up for the past few years, right? The one arrow going to England, and then the next arrow of the Gibraltar Strait aiming right at the U.S. And the imagery of what that article was about comes up like this, like the target right in the middle. But remember, it's also the point in the middle, the 0 point with the 3 circles, and then the 2 around them of other groups of 12 around Mary Magdalene. That's the visual that was coming up. The center of Mary Magdalene, the inner circle, divine feminine. The outer circle is both the masculine and the feminine. And then there were 2 other groups of 12 as well. So grounding at 0 point field in a crystal box, as I continue here on this card right here. Continuing at 0 point field in the crystal box, remember on Gaia, Mother Nature here. And water, water, water. Don't forget to drink your water. With dolphins and the icosahedron, the 7 of the chariot, which remember the 7 is 3 plus 4. It's the feminine within the masculine becoming the 7 of the chariot, which is the vehicle of ascension and infiltration. But it also comes up as the charred yacht or the fishing boat. And iodine comes up here as well. The iodine stain is also translation for chariot. Or in other words, charred or burned just slightly, or in other words, not actually burned, but tan, suntan, right? A darkened Mary Magdalene, to turn away or finish the yacht, or iodine was coming up here. And remember, too, that iodine is eo, or I-dine. It's also I-die-any. The iodine burns were coming up for some reason. I'm not sure why. That might be a message for somebody out there. I don't know if anyone's experienced an iodine burn, but that was coming up. That too much can lead to a metallic taste or soreness in health of gums. I mean, I think most people don't get enough iodine. It's not usually an issue. But this was coming up for somebody. A burning in the mouth or throat, and my phone was just confirming that. A burning in the mouth or throat, increased saliva, throat inflammation, upset stomach, diarrhea, waste, what did I write there? Wasting, depression, skin problems, many other side effects. Anyway, so if that resonates with someone, let me know. And then again, water coming up is so significant right here in the collective awakening with abundant expansion. Remember, water's emotions as well. To be that beacon of light, like the Rock of Gibraltar, and shine on Rock of Gibraltar at the lead of the masculine of the 44 of the square, or the 2 squares that become the diamond instead of the squares, becoming a Merkaba, and then the connection to the feminine pyramid, which is coming up as the statues of liberty. Okay, so here we have the rock, the pillars of strength of the masculine pyramid, of the Moroccan Atlas Mountains, and then the mountain of Hercules in the Spanish territory, leading to the Rock of Gibraltar, which is English territory. Hold on one second. I just had to leave them a message. And then so that's the masculine pyramid, and the feminine pyramid's coming up as the statues of liberty, right? So we have the rock, the pillars of strength, and the statues of liberty. What a beautiful message that is. And then the endings of reflection in the sunset every day, that you are held in your grieving and any sadness you may experience. The indigo is whole and complete. Remember that. You are never lacking anything. Be the star that you are, alchemizing light and dark, or transmuting light and dark at 148, which is the magician, and the walking away within of the 8 of Cups. Receive the sun as you look up to the sun, which then makes your shadow more focal behind you, creating a backpack, the shadow fuel for the journey, to journey on or travel on. Travel on, indigo, transmuting that energy with your portable energy pack. So very cool energies coming up there. And about Mary Magdalene as well. Because there's a lot of people believe that she wasn't, a white person. She was from Africa. Or she might have been, a light-skinned person as well, a light black-skinned person too. We don't know. But I just got confirmation that the Black Madonna is correct in regards to Mary Magdalene. So we have the union read here, and that was done at 6:04 to 5 last night, which is the Lovers, and then the Emperor with the 5 of the Hierophant, which is also the 5 of change, expansion, and And what was the third thing I would say? Change. Oh, freedom. Change, expansion, and freedom, as we're talking about the Statue of Liberty. The 4D, 5D, 6D physical union read for the 19th today. And the underlying energy was the Six of Pentacles, then the Strength card in the middle, which is, by the way, in this deck. Let me see if it's right here. I can show you the Strength card. Where are you? It's a significant card because it's very much about the, all right, this is the Strength card in this deck, the SIRIAN Starseed deck. And it's very much about the Tiger, which for me is more Sagittarius energy than Leo energy. So it can bring up both of those energies, but it's the white Bengal tiger birthing through the Ring of Fire. It's the birthing, it's the breakthrough to the other side. It's a very significant, powerful energy in this deck. So that's in the middle of the read today. And then the King of Wands, the Man of Passion, who already came up as well, was at the end of the read, which is the Shaman energy in this deck. We had the Shaman, but we also had the Wounded Warrior coming up too, right? So here's the Shaman, and then here's the Wounded Warrior that came up towards the end as well, okay? So the Page of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the King of Swords all coming together in the underlying energies on the feminine side in transition, which is the Death card. It's actually a portal in this deck of sharing or settling out in a breakthrough, a birthing with a rebel yell to the King of Wands at the full moon or at night with the Wounded Warrior present to a painful ending or an ending pain or perhaps getting a massage. The incoming Divine Feminine with the Ace of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups, and the Knight of Cups sharing an offering of a new life, a breakthrough to the Ten of Cups, emotional fulfillment with the Knight of Cups. The Page of Cups, Knight of Wands, and the King of Swords transitioning to share life with a happy family of the Knight of Cups here. The 4D is the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. Of the Divine Feminine, King of Pentacles, or Akashic Records, Crystal Skull, the Divine Masculine with the Eight of Wands in energetic exchange at 0 point and splattering all over. Bridging with the Queen of Swords with their hands on the truth trigger and read on right pulse or her lifeline. The 5D is the Four of Wands, the Strength, and the Ace of Swords, the Divine Feminine, home or union, and with a welcoming path. And the Divine Masculine with the truth just below the surface as I lose my voice, with the buoy marking the spot, which is very interesting too, because Michael Salla was just talking about the rings that mark the spot where the Bermuda Triangle is and where the ship is that they entered. But you can check out Michael Salla's YouTube if you want to listen to that one. So the buoy marking the spot and bridging with the tiger, bursting through the Ring of Fire to the other side, or perhaps someone's crown opening up, right? Or the galactic portal, perhaps to a wet spot. At 6D, which is the Five of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Eight of Cups, the Divine Feminine sad in the woods, or with 2 cups and no one to drink the other with her. The Divine Masculine walking away within, leaving behind all aligned and not missing a beat. Bridging with the twin flames above the world coming together, she grieving 2 cups and he leaving behind 8. She has his 9th, her 2 is all I need, like in The Jerk, and this lamp and this ashtray, The Jerk. That was literally coming up like that. The outgoing Divine Masculine is the Knight of Pentacles, Alchemy, and Ascension. As the King of Pentacles or the Knight of Pentacles with a proposal to alchemize or transmute with the world, the Pisces energy, the Divine Feminine, or too patient coming full circle with the King of Wands at the full moon, the Wounded Warrior surrendering to flame and bliss, and the Divine Feminine mastering manifestation of union, home, and purging, the Divine Masculine in energetic exchange with the arrows of love, the truth, and walking away ready to play ball, and the bridge of the Queen of Swords with with the truth breaking through to the other side, to the twin flame in the ethers at 6:39, the Lovers and the Knight of Cups. The Ace of Crying or Purging, the high vibe of the Cha department, which can be the cha-cha dance, of emotions, and the Knight of the C and C with your eyes, your emotions, and with the unity consciousness. The Alki also is coming up here, so somebody might be dealing with someone who's got alcoholism. And the Ascension in the mastering of passions here. The overall number for this read was the 45, about the purging process and getting over it, right? Which is kind of ongoing because we're continuously clearing our wounds. The horizontal pillars came out to 21, 5, and 19, which is the world, the Hierophant, and the sun. And the vertical pillars came up to 7, 10, which is the Chariot and the Wheel of Fortune, the 0 of source energy or space, the 9 of the Hermit, the 2 of the High Priestess, the 17 of the Star, and then triple zeros after that. So the message was coming up as complete or coming full circle in a commitment, marriage, or exposing the purge of grief, etc. And the Chariot and the Wheel is that bold move to destiny with space, with the Hermit, High Priestess, Star, with a lot of source support behind them. So again, resting is very important here too. And yeah, I actually fell asleep on my couch last night, which I never do because I always go to bed first before I go to sleep. So just feeling a little drained there. So let's just pull a quick couple cards from the animal deck. And it's 333 on the clock. This one's 5133, which is the King of Swords and the 33 of the Christ vibration. Okay. So we were talking about 222 and 444. And 333 comes up to complete the set. What is our takeaway from this read today? The octopus, the main frame with all of the separate tentacles that have a mind of their own. So it's like, can be referenced as God, and all of you are these other energies that can think for themselves, but still yet joined at the head. This also can reference computer energies as well. But in this deck, it's, we'll read the octopus. But again, octo is coming up again as the 8 and the puss, the dance of the puss. And it's actually October opus, because oct is the 8, but also October is the 10 also, which is the turn for the better in the Libra energy. And the opus, right? Somebody's life's work in destiny, because the 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, which is destiny, right? Your destined work of art. The octopus. But you see the octopus also in this very dark energy here. And everybody kind of working on their own, independently of the main frame. And then there's the lizard there as well. I was just getting renal dysfunction, ARD, acute renal dysfunction. I don't know if someone's got renal issues. All right, so we have the lizard in this deck is very empathic, but also is very sensitive in crowds. They get drained really easy in crowds, okay? And the octopus comes up as the octopus teacher as well, right? They die for their children. They give birth and then they die. And they're always kind of transforming, right? They transform into things to lead people astray so they don't see them. They're hiding, and again, that's coming up as the shape-shifting reptilian energy here as well. The black egg about the truth, and again, the purple moon. You see how the dark going to light becomes the purple energy. And this is the truth of the throat chakra and opening up, and the masculine speaking their truth, right? As the bat, this can be the bat out of hell, but also lost in space. Remember the mouse in one of the reads recently was talking about offering their wings, giving their wings to someone else, right? Or committing, right? So no longer a free bird, but cutting their wings off. And it might have been a teenager getting in trouble or something like that. But there's still that energy here of the scared little mouse lost in space, not knowing how to use these wings, because I'd never been a bat before. I've always been a little mouse. But it's about speaking the truth. And of course the black egg is coming up because the black Madonna just came up. And that's really funny, talking about going black into space. Once you go black, you never go back. So there's many different perspectives on how you see any word or phrase or anything, really. So, right, once someone might be scared, maybe this has been programmed in them as a child, that, you know, that's really scary out there in space and ETs and all that kind of stuff, right? So once you get taken, you know, you never can go back from there. The truth of Batman, or of the little bat or mouse lost in space, way above the world, and this, you know, lost in that little tin can. And again, ground control to Major Tom. And then we have the cosmic egg, which is the collective awakening, but not seeing it from the top down, seeing it from the side on an equal playing field, not above the world, but on the same playing field, all level. And there is the grid of the sky and the spider in the web. And the spider's coming up like the octopus, you know, because they have that same kind of energy of multiple tentacles or legs. And how many legs does this one? Has 8, and the octopus has 8. So anyway, 8 legs. The 8 is the dance. Give me just a second. I'm getting that the octopus here, you know, like an 8 would be half of this. And it's like in the human body, you know how like if you lose a vessel, sometimes you can grow a new vessel, will try to make its way to the next vessel to grow back. And that's the same thing that happens with the octopus, right? If they lose one of their limbs, they can grow it back. I don't know if they can grow it back fully sized again, but they do grow back. It's like that energy of the human body when something breaks, right? Because there's not two heads here of the 8. There's only one. And it's like showing us the break in the 8 between the masculine and the feminine, and all of these new avenues that have formed to try to get back to each other again. How cool is that? That's what I'm getting. So again, in the break from the apple and Adam and Eve, and the truth of the black Madonna coming up here, and the bat as well. And I'm getting meatloaf with the bat out of hell, right? Is that meatloaf? Just a loaf, you know, oh, because they're the triangle of the weightlifter, right? They're just a piece of meat, meatloaf. Spirit's so funny. Okay, so, and then we have the cosmic egg about making it all a even playing field. And remember, 2 out of 3 ain't bad is coming up from meatloaf. Is coming up too, and that actually came up when I was getting the 3/4 or 3 out of 4 ain't bad. I was actually going to write that, but I didn't. So they're bringing it up because it was meant to come up. So it's saying that the masculine was just a piece of meat, right? The Atlas, the Adonis, the Hercules, the Rock of Gibraltar, the one that carries the world upon their shoulders, where the feminine gets to be the Statue of Liberty, right? And making this an even playing field as the collective awakenings. As the collective awakens, and the etheric grid above us, and everybody has their place, each one is equal, has a spot on the grid of the whole. Everyone in equal parts. Everyone has one dot, right? You each have your own dot. We're all equal. And this can reference to coming towards the center point of the 0 point field, but it also can represent the twin flames as being the closest energy to each other of all of the other energies out there. So both of those kind of energies are coming up here. And then we have the lamb, which is the target, right? That's why the masculine had to be the way to, you know, the strong man, because the feminine was coming up as the lamb, not the ram, right? Who needs to be protected because they have that innocent vibration inside of that psychic ability of connection. and to carry the child. And the bottom of the deck is the dragon again. But again, this comes up as the third, the solar plexus, which came up earlier in the read as well. Always with an eye on you. It's like your inner mother keeping an eye on you and reminding you to be confident and sure of who you are. And there's a buffalo of the bullish energy, which kind of references the ram, even though it's a sheep, because it has to do with that stubborn energy of being rammy. And the Taurus energy here in the lead, right? Because the Taurus energy is in the North Node. And both of these eyes look very much the same. And beneath that is the wolf. Can't believe what they can't believe their eyes. They can't believe what they're seeing. And they look closer and closer. They see the buffalo here. And they can't believe how spiritual they become. And then they look even closer. And this is what you look like when you look at your eyes really closely in the mirror. You become like that reptile energy here, the dragon. The eye of the dragon, the eye of the tiger. And the first card out was the lizard, or actually the first card out was the octopus, but also the lizard energy of the chameleon was coming up here. And again, we have this at the bottom of the deck. Okay. So now I'm getting the song, come, 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 chameleon. So yeah, there's shape-shifting energy coming out here. But I guess needing to know too that the lizard tends to lose energy in crowds really easily. So they don't have endurance, which is the same thing as the octopus, right? Because they die when they give birth. A lack of endurance. And again, right, the bat little energy wanting to get away from that energy because they're not sure about it. They're scared. They're in fear in this collective awakening. Maybe they feel like it's safer up on the grid, lost in space. I think I'll stay here, safer here than down there where all of these chameleons are. But again, feeling like a target, because this is very much that little mouse vulnerable energy of the lamb as a target, and speaking their truth, like afraid to speak their truth because they feel like a target. And that's coming up for the masculine, actually. Or maybe they're afraid to speak up because then the feminine will become a target and they're protecting them. So we have the journey of love. Let's pull quickly from the journey of love, see what's going on. I'm getting the propeller energy from the lamb as I'm sitting here shuffling. The propeller, like the plane or the helicopter, but also the diamond, the two almonds that come together. And the ears were coming up. The elephant ears were coming up last night too. Are you hearing? Is your hearing becoming extra sensitive? Oh, notice your abilities. Are they changing? Notice hearing and smell and taste. Because those senses which we don't usually focus on as far as psychic abilities may be enhanced here. Because that came up as well yesterday. All right, this is the deck cover, self-initiation, the 12 of the Hanging Man, of wisdom, of seeing new perspectives. Self-initiation. We also, very red, we have the heart of the moment as well. The 16 of the Tower event, right? This is like an epiphany or a sudden event, or, something happens where all of a sudden you're awakened suddenly in the heat or the heart of the moment of self-initiation. And then we have sacred convergence here, which is bringing us back to the 9/11 memorial, which I keep telling you that's a sacred site because there's an etheric altar above the Statue of Liberty. So somewhere in New York, it feels like the ETs will be presenting themselves, whether it's by projection or if they're actually coming. But I keep getting that's where the ETs are going to be coming. right? I love New York. It's confirming that. There's a lot of red energy there, though. And so what is the point of that? The bottom of the deck is her grace, and that's that Grace Kelly energy, the 17 of the star, and this is Statue of Liberty. And look, she's reaching out to Ellis Island, right, to the masculine once he arrived, right? So her magnetism pulled him to the United States. The arrow of the masculine that pointed to England with the Rock of Gibraltar, and then her magnetism at the United States of the Statue of Liberty pulling them from the Gibraltar Strait into the US. This is very cool. By dropping into her heart, in that green, the heart, the physical heart and the high heart of the Page of Pentacles, the 68, which is manifesting something new with her grace. Underneath that was the heart fire. So it's like sending her heart fire to the masculine and pulling them into Ellis Island. With self-initiation, there's the feminine again in the vortex, but also in the chaos of the cyclone, but fine. You know, allowing it all. And the heart of the moment, the heat of the moment, right? I love New York. Allowing the heart of the moment of self-initiation, coming into that twin flame sacred convergence of the toroidal field. Oh, they're saying like, if you build it, they will come. They're saying you built the 9/11 memorial, you built it, they will come. They will rise to the occasion because you built the 9/11 memorial. It's making me cry because it's all the people who died in 9/11 coming back. They're giving back to you, thanking you for the memorial, the 9/11 memorial. And that, I'm getting like Carol Merrill, right? Because she just came up in Let's Make a Deal, and she's presenting. And here we have the 9/11 memorial. A lot of effort, a lot of heart effort, blood, sweat, and tears went into this. But it's finally ready to be presented as we have a ding on the phone. The sacred convergence of the twins, the twin flames, the toroidal field. This could be a christening too. I know that there's a QE2 boat. It's in whatchamacallit, I can't think of the name now. Is it Abu Dhabi? I'm not sure. Around there's a QE2 that's docked there now. I don't know if they're having a grand opening celebration or something. That could be as well. But yeah, some cool energy. All right, let's see. The octopus and the lizard. The octopus is water, of course. Let's see here. Where are you? Octopus came right up. Reaching, yearning, lacking boundaries and direction. And that's about the lizard too, because they get really sensitive in crowds. And if the octopus lacks boundaries and direction, and the lizard does too, because they get drained really easily in crowds, the octopus signifies a wonderfully perceptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. Unfortunately, this results in well-intended but messy relationships. The octopus entwines itself into other people's business and shares their own without restraint. They believe that's what it means to be close. If you notice after spending time with someone that you feel drained or uneasy, the essence of octopus is at play. Begin to establish healthy boundaries. Be patient and firm. It may be a very old habit to change. When in balance, they're interested, engaged, and intelligent. But when they're out of balance, they're needy, clingy, and lack courage. To bring back into balance, space to oneself or talk therapy. And then we have the lizard. which I know is at the beginning. Yeah, the lizard is instinctual, sensitive to the subtle, and dreamer. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception. As if it has a sixth sense, the lizard hears what is yet to be spoken and sees what is yet to manifest. Although it's an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card's an indication to pull back from the bright lights and the big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. When in balance, artistic, telepathic, and spiritual. When out of balance, elusive, non-committal, and flaky. And to bring back into balance a creative project, perhaps. So again, there's energies of pulling you guys back in. And it's funny, too, because I just booked a treatment with my sister downtown, which I haven't been downtown in a long time because, you know, the energy's not great. And you can't eat at a lot of places now, too, if you're not vaccinated. But that's coming up. So let's see what the Journey of Love has to say for 12. And 12 was very significant as the rings around Mary Magdalene. Self-initiation. You're being touched by a wave of your own light and motion. Can you feel the blessings and love that are flowing towards you, from within you, in an upsurging wave of love? This is your own pure divine nature. You can choose to empower another as the carrier of your own divinity, of course, and sometimes if you're not quite ready to recognize your own divine essence, this needs to be. Yet at any moment you can choose to recognize that it is you who are initiating yourself into love, that you are the being of light, the divine that is drawing you forward into yourself. At any moment you can choose to recognize yourself. Will this be such a moment? This oracle holds a message for you. There are many teachers on this path, some humble, some wise, some great companions on your life journey, and some who will enter in and out of your life quickly, perhaps imparting a helpful word, or teaching you a more challenging lesson about trusting and relying upon your own wisdom. The greatest teacher, however, is life itself. You can trust in your own experiences and know that it is the divine spark within you, the life within you, that is the one true teacher who carries you home in awakened reunion with the divine. How easy to love. The words flow when it's right. I dare not tell you. Okay. Make sure to drink your water, get your rest, get your joy in, get your nature. And I'm going to try to get my astrological signs done today. I think I have to do Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. And so it was just 12-12. It was 1 and 12-12, which was the Mary Magdalene circle. Her and then the 12 and 12. And then the 24 now. So anyway, guys, be good to yourselves. Take a break. You know what to do. Follow your guidance and rise and be loved. Bye, guys.